Yeah, Paula, it's coming as live.
Yes, we are live.
Okay, so you can start and then you'll monitor the comments.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I will introduce everybody and then I will hand it over to you and then I will monitor the comments.
Thanks, Paula.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for accepting our invitation to the second series of Unsung Heroes. So this is part 2. Welcome to all the viewers. Today we have 3 panelists who are again working in remote areas of India, and I will introduce them one by one. First we have Ms. Aisha Khatoon. Aisha has completed her graduation from Elite School of Optometry in the year 1997. She has also done the International Optometry Bridging Program from the University of Waterloo in 2005 and worked in Toronto for a couple of years before moving back to India. Since 2007, she has been practicing in her own store, that is Dilip Optical Company in Vijayawada, Andhra Pradesh. She is also vice president of a charity-run organization named Mine Shatham Charitable Society, which was established in 2015. And this charitable society helps improve health, education, and livelihood opportunities for the younger generation within Andhra Pradesh. Welcome, Aisha.
Thank you, Paula.
Second, we have Mr. Bharti Pradeep. He is working as an ophthalmic officer in the Department of Health and Family Welfare, Government of Punjab since 1985. He is the founder chairman of National Ophthalmic Association. He completed his diploma in ophthalmic assistant from Government Medical College, Patiala in the year 1984. Then he upgraded himself to a Bachelor of Optometry through lateral entry in 2018 and also completed his master's in optometry from Chitkara University in the year 2020. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone.
Last but not least, we have Mr. Karthikeyan. Sir is a diploma holder from Madurai Medical College. He has completed in 1984. And then he has been serving as an ophthalmic assistant under NPCB. He has also completed his master's in political science. He is currently the vice president of National Ophthalmic Association. He has been the state president of Tamil Nadu Government Ophthalmic Assistant Association and also has served a state GS and coordinator till 2018. He has also been GBM of Indian Optometry Federation till the year 2016. Welcome, sir.
Good afternoon to all. Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Welcome, everybody. And now I will hand it over to Lakshmi ma'am to start the panel discussion.
Thank you. Thank you, Paula. So just to give a background to everybody, we've started a series called as Unsung Heroes, where I feel it's very important to bring to the forefront the optometrists who have been serving in remote locations in their own capacity. I wouldn't say something really big, but in their own capacity, how much ever work they are doing, I thought it's very important to showcase. So last time we had somebody from Northeast, somebody from Central India, and one person from North India as well. So the purpose of showcasing all of this is to actually tell people and also be as an inspiration to young optometrists for the kind of service that optometry is doing throughout the country, which really doesn't come to the forefront otherwise. So thanks to all of you for agreeing to be on the panel. And Bharti sir, I just heard before we went live that you are the guru for many people. So really a privilege to have you in this panel, sir. So thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, ma'am, and I am very much privileged to be here on the panel.
So I would just start maybe by asking all of you to give a few lines of the kind of work that each one is doing as far as eye care is concerned, and the area, like the place where you're working and things like that. So Aisha, since you're the lady in the panel, could we start with you?
Okay, yeah. Sure. So I guess optometry as a profession, I think I didn't choose it. Optometry chose me. It was not planned. Whatever I'm doing is not at all planned. It's just my journey that's brought me back to my hometown, where I'm able to do this kind of service activities. Being in a the service oriented profession like optometry, it's giving me opportunities to give back to the society, like you said, in my own capacity, in small little ways, nothing huge, but in my own little ways, I'm trying to give back from what I got from this profession. See, I worked in Toronto for a couple of years. I went to the University of Waterloo, but due to some unforeseen circumstances, I had to come back to India and then back to Vijayawada. So we have our own optical store here. I generally do this primary care practice, refraction and contact lenses is a subject that I'm really passionate about. And I think in Vijayawada, I'm the only one who does a proper contact lens practice.
Okay.
And one more thing I want to tell you is there's no graduate optometrist in Vijayawada.
Oh, who's practicing? So you're the only graduate optometrist.
I'm the only graduate optometrist in Vijayawada. So I feel the onus is on me. I take even more interest to do, better than what the others are providing here. And because I am the vice president of a charity organization, that also gives me a platform to extend these professional services in different ways. We interact mostly with the underprivileged school children through our organization. So in my capacity, I try to have these eye camps and eye screenings and all that. And I tend to interact with the school administration and give the talk to the students. Because of your OCI eye awareness program, that helped me actually to broaden my horizon here.
Okay.
Yeah. So it has put me out there. So most of the principals contact me and they were really impressed with the work that we did, the eye awareness program. So they asked me to conduct a few classes once in a while. So depending on the time and my convenience, I just go and take some classes for the students and all that.
We are very happy if you want to extend that in terms of eye awareness to maybe more schools. So let's see how that will plan out.
Yes.
Bharti, sir?
Ma'am, my entry to this profession was purely accidental. Actually, after doing the pre-medical, I was pursuing my BSc. I was in second year. So one day I was totally fed up that I will not continue with the BSc because I was not seeing any future after doing the graduation and all that. So suddenly I came across the advertisement of ophthalmic assistant vacancies in Patiala Medical College. I applied for that, went for the interview, selected, and then I was selected to be at Amritsar Medical College. So I packed my luggage and went there. Even my father didn't know it. So when he was on tour on those days, when he came back from the tour, he asked my mother, "Where is Pradeep?" So she said, "He has gone to Amritsar. He has taken some admission in some course. I don't know where he has gone." So after I came home after 1.5 months, then he asked me, "Which stream has you gone?" And then he completed my diploma and immediately I got the job. I was fortunate enough to get the job immediately. So since May 85, I am serving in the Department of Health in the Punjab government. And presently I am posted at Sub-Divisional Hospital, Sunam. Sunam, you must be knowing, is the birthplace of Shaheed Udham Singh. So I am fortunate to serve the land of Shaheed Udham Singh. And it's in Sangrur district in Punjab. Sangrur district is one of the biggest districts of Punjab. And unfortunately, it is the backward area of declared backward area of Punjab. So I am serving in the backward area, and that too in the backward sub-divisional hospital of Sunam. So
the number of cases that you see also will be very different from what people see in the cities, I'm sure.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, the average OPD here is because it's a sub-divisional hospital. We are seeing at least 70 to 80 patients a day, and there are different type of diseases. Almost all type of diseases we are seeing here, and
Okay.
we are conducting the independent OPD. And because the number of ophthalmologists are very less, and you
Less,
will be
yeah.
surprised to know that if I talk about my district, I have only 2 ophthalmologists in whole of the district,
Okay.
and the population of the district is more than 17 lakhs.
My God.
And
Okay.
yes, and only 2 ophthalmologists are serving for the
The
whole
entire
population.
district.
So we are conducting all the OPDs, we are conducting all the school health program, we are conducting all the eye camps, and for surgery we are referring the patients to the district hospital where both the ophthalmologists
Okay.
are posted. And you
Okay.
will be surprised that we have a waiting list of surgeries, about 3-4 months waiting we are currently.
3-4 months.
Yeah, 3-4 months waiting is going on for the surgery. Number of surgeries are that much, and only 2 ophthalmologists are there to do the surgeries. So
Okay.
all this we are doing in this hospital for the last so many years.
Hopefully, because of this, the National Commission Allied Health Council Act, hopefully
Yes.
there will be more cadres of people that are trained post this, and we'll have more of optometrists as well, hopefully serving in all these regions.
But man, there is a different story altogether. First time in my life, I am seeing that the qualified persons are not joining government jobs. There was a time when
Yeah,
people were bribing for the government job, and now it's the scene altogether
the
different.
other way. Yeah, I know.
Other way around.
Yeah, but there are also no positions for optometrists also within the government, sir. So that is some complaints that what we are getting also is there are no position for graduates within the government sector. So that's what I'm saying. So hopefully all that will change. Let's see. That we have to wait and see how it comes.
We are trying for the upgradation of the qualification for the post of
Correct.
ophthalmic officer. So that's why we are having some deliberations with the authorities at the Chandigarh. So hopefully we hope to get it through.
Karthikeyan, sir. Sir, you're muted. You have to unmute yourself, sir. You're muted.
Okay. Good afternoon.
Yeah. Good afternoon, sir.
I am working as ophthalmic assistant in Theni district, Tamil Nadu, Kombai Primary Health, Black Primary Health Center. Just about 500 kilometers away from Chennai in Tamil Nadu. Okay. And I am completed my ophthalmic assistant course in 1984. Then I have joined at Aravind Eye Hospital, Madurai. Then after 2 years services in cataract research program in Aravind Eye Hospital. Then after getting my government job in 1987, then I will join to ophthalmic assistant in another old district. Last 33 years, I have completed my same ophthalmic assistant post. Now I am working in Theni district. 33 years I am completed in government service as an ophthalmic assistant.
Yeah. So viewers, we've heard about what they are currently doing, but they're all being very, very modest. There's much more to each one of them, what they're contributing to. So I'll be asking some questions regarding that as well to get as to what other activities they're doing within their own capacity, because apart from the normal work that they do in terms of service, they're also interested in other activities to uplift the profession of optometry. So Aisha, coming to you. So you said you spent some time in Toronto. So is there any time that you look back and you regret coming back? Is there any time?
I wouldn't say I would regret, not at all. it was almost like a rerun of SN for me there in the Toronto office that I worked. The same system like SN had to, do the whole file work, and we had even fundus photography and all that. And then finally we would give. So I used to remember our SN days. So it was the same work. But I don't think I would have got this kind of an opportunity if I stayed there in Toronto. The kind of work that I'm doing now in my place, it's a small town. Vijayawada is a small town. So I get the chance to do the kind of social service that I'm.
You're muted again. Sorry. Yeah. You're muted. Yeah. Now you're okay. Fine. Yes.
Yeah.
So no regrets, Aisha. And
No
what
regrets.
about your family? What did they say when you kind of came back, for whatever reason? Did they say that, no, you need to go back after everything kind of settled down?
No, they were more than happy that they got my services here.
Okay. And I think it is a big landmark to say that you're the only graduate optometrist, practicing in Vijayawada. It is a huge, I would say, even a responsibility if you look at it at some point, because everybody would look at you to carry the profession forward in as far as that place is concerned. So I'm sure
Actually,
it's a huge...
Savita Amravati University wanted me as a guest lecturer here, and I did go for a couple of classes. But then due to some reasons with the government and all that, they had to shut down. So I did take a few classes in Savita University here in Vijayawada.
Okay. I still remember you, Aisha. You did send me some kind of, the initial interaction with you was through some complaint that you, brought it to the attention of OCI. So can you talk about that?
Yes, that was the BSS, practice that was going on. They were distributing diploma in optometry certificates like chocolates here in Vijayawada. They just conducted a few nominal classes, and then they were distributing certificates. By the time I got to know that, I thought I had to take a stand. Being a professional, and I thought that that's not the right way to do things. Just conducting 3-4 classes and then having a nominal exam and distributing diploma in optometry certificates, just like that. So that is when I contacted you, and then I went to the collector's office, lodged an official complaint. I met the DMHO here, the Andhra Pradesh board, and I spoke to him. And there was a police raid also. When they were distributing these certificates, there was a police raid and they caught those people. They were from Bidar, Karnataka, those people.
Okay.
So they were given strict warnings not to come back again to Vijayawada.
So now you all know why she's a hero. How many of us would really go in that path to fight and get this done? Of course, in whatever capacity, letters that we could give her, we did do that in our own capacity as OCI. So I really applaud you to be a whistleblower and also follow, in that direction to make sure it meets the logical end as well. So hats off to you, Aisha, for that contribution.
Thank you.
Bharti sir, I have no words to express your inspiration where, you go on to do your graduation, and after that post-graduation as well, somebody would say, "Are yaar, kaun padega abhi is umar mein," although you have a government job, there was no force. There was no force for anybody to upgrade. But that passion that you had to say that, no, I need to know more and I need to learn more. So what actually pushed you in that direction?
Ma'am, it was total out of knowledge that I joined the graduation and the post-graduation. Although we were doing all the work in the government sitting hospital, so there was no problem at all doing the work we were already doing. But somewhere I felt from my inner heart that I'm lacking somewhere. So we were just working like a postman. The patient would come, examine, and then refer him to some other place. We were just working like the postman. So somewhere at the back of the mind, it was there that you're not doing justice to all the patients you are seeing here. So one must upgrade the knowledge. And honestly speaking, it was the very hard decision, very tough decision. Every factor was against: age, family responsibilities, and social responsibilities. And above all, there was no incentive from the government.
Absolutely. That's really what I mean, admire about you. Despite any kind of incentive, to go ahead and do this at the age where you actually did it. As you said, family responsibility, when you're totally settled in life, to go ahead and do something like this, I totally admire you for those reasons.
So that's why it was a tough decision. But I must say that the one meeting with Professor Aditya Goyal was the game changer in my life. He was such a big inspiration. Actually, we went to Jaipur for the NOA conference, and there he had a lecture, and his NRA PRA changed the whole of my mentality about the optometry and the work we were already doing.
Yeah, he is known for the NRA and PRA.
At that time, we were not doing NRA PRA, or even honestly speaking, we were not knowing also, because we were not taught at the diploma level.
Yeah.
All these things. So when he came to Ludhiana, we especially went to meet him and then discussed with him with the opportunities. Then he inspired us to upgrade the knowledge, and then we went into the this graduation and the post graduation.
Okay.
So now, with the grace of God and with the support of all the family and the friends, we are confident enough to handle the patient independently. And very rarely, I say, in the dire need, we are referring the patients to the higher institutions, or when there is some need to refer the patient to the ophthalmologist or the retina specialist or something else, then only we are referring the patients.
Is the government looking at that kind of change, sir? Are they observing that it has been of help in terms of you upgrading and the referral becoming less? Have they made an observation of such a change?
Not at the level of the authorities concerned. Actually, it is only the respect you are getting from your the centers where you are referring the patients. So from the government point of view, I don't think there is any differentiation in their point of view.
Okay.
And during our education also, when we were doing the graduation and the post-graduation, everyone we came across, the first question they will ask us is, will you get any incentive for this in the job? So we outrightly refused it. We will not get any benefit for the graduation or the post-graduation. Then why are you pursuing this at this age?
Exactly.
It was totally for our knowledge. So it is my mind that is satisfied that I am doing justice to my patients now.
Correct. Yeah. That's very, very important. Like what you said, doing justice to somebody who's coming to see you, that is very, very, very important. And I think that's where you draw your inspiration from also. So hats off to you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Karthikeyan, sir, I'm going to ask a totally different question to you.
Okay.
You've been so long as an ophthalmic assistant in Tamil Nadu for so many years. You've seen what the profession is and all of that. Despite that, how did you put your son into optometry?
Madam, okay, madam. I first in Tamil Nadu, very long service I am doing in as ophthalmic assistant. At the same time, I feel one important information. Ophthalmic assistant cadre is God's blessing cadre. God's blessing cadre. Day to day, most of the benefited patients, especially cataract postoperative, after postoperative patients, then come to my OP is continuously day to day his
He's
his feel is
saying
very
thank you. Thank
very
you to you. Yes.
thanks to me. But this is a very I feel this
Noble
post
profession.
is a noble profession. Noble, I feel this is a noble profession. This is not only me, all over, all in India, all 8,000 ophthalmic surgeons will feel this matter. This
The
is
same. Okay.
so I am this eye care profession is a very God's blessing profession, I feel. So this is my opinion. In my heart, this is okay. But at the same time, my son is already is interested in aeronautical engineering. But in after his schooling, he is interested in aeronautical engineering. But we are also, my family members also, okay, supporting him to aeronautical engineering. At the same time, we conduct 2012, we have conduct National Ophthalmic Association Conference in Chennai. I am a chairperson of the NOA conference. At the, in the May, I think May month, this conference is conducted in Chennai. He is also study leave after +2 completed. He is also come with me and sir helping to organizing
for
work
conference
for 3 to 4 days in Chennai. My son that is coming with me, and at the time he met all our 500 delegates from all over India come to Chennai for this NOA conference. Most of the ophthalmic assistants directly contact with my son. Then he's some giving.
He's talking to them.
Talking to about these courses. You are also going to optometrist course. Is guiding to. This is a very important inspiration to change
his decision.
His decision, madam. Decision.
Oh.
Then he is going to apply to some colleges. He's got a optometrist in 2012 in Sangar Nethralaya. That's a great elite school of optometry. This is
that is nice. So, yes, Bharti sir, I think you and your cadre have inspired Karthikeyan's son, I could say, to do optometry for the future. No, it is very true, because I think many youngsters would definitely feel that they want to do engineering or medicine or something like that. But to get into optometry, I think it is a tough decision where many people don't know about the career. So I think it's really nice to see that the second generation Karthikeyan sir to get into the same profession. Aisha, coming back to you, I know that you said you're also, working with some of your friends and doing social service in terms of, going to government schools and all of that. So this, what inspired you to do this, and what is the kind of work that you're doing in that area?
Yeah, see, this was just decided one fine day over dinner when we were just having a chat. So what we thought, we were from a convent school, and we thought we should be able to give back to the kids who are underprivileged in our own ways. So we started this charity organization, which targets mainly at the health, education, and sanitation facilities for the children. So the children there in these schools are mostly from a very low, poor background. Like they don't even have proper meals. They don't have even slippers to wear and come to school. So we went and did a survey of all these schools, and we tried to cater to their needs, which school needs what. Like there are approximately 28 municipal schools here in Vijayawada. So we did a recce of all the schools, and then we targeted each school in what kind of facilities they need. Like some schools did not have drinking water facility, so we provided funds to have that drinking water for them. Some schools did not have bathrooms for the kids, so we helped in the construction of bathrooms and maintaining that sanitation and all that. And then health, we would give them one meal per day. Approximately like 2,000 students in all these schools, mostly the teenagers, like higher school, 8th, 9th, and 10th standard students. So we would provide them food, healthy, nutritious food. Now, because of my profession, I use this as an opportunity to expand my professional expertise in this area. So
That
I
is
would do this in
absolutely
my
great.
own capacity. Like, so I would
Okay.
go to these schools and conduct some eye camps,
Very good.
every few months.
Eye
and then,
screening and all of that.
yes,
Okay.
eye screening. And then I would give them glasses, provide them spectacle lenses and everything like that.
What do you do about referrals, Aisha, in such circumstances, if they need any surgeries or anything like that? What would you do?
I do refer them. I am in touch with a few ophthalmologists here. So
Great, great.
yeah, and
Okay.
we fund for their surgeries also.
Oh, the organization.
Through
would
our
fund for the
organization,
surgery.
yes, we do that. Yes.
Oh, lovely, lovely, really nice.
Yeah.
So how many schools approximately you would have covered? I know this is a very young organization, but in your small time that you've had, how many schools do you think you've covered? Or is
No, we
it
cover-
something
we-
that
we
where you
cover all-
select?
No, we cover all the schools in Vijayawada. All the schools.
Oh,
There are
all
28
government schools.
schools.
My.
All the government schools. All the government schools.
That's huge
Yeah.
responsibility, I think. So,
Yeah.
and you do it year after year, Aisha?
Yes, every year.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely commendable job, Aisha.
Thank you. Thank you so
Absolutely
much.
commendable job, I think. This is something that comes out of your own heart.
Yeah, this is just out of interest. And like I said, there are 2 old age homes that I visit regularly. And it's
Okay.
like mobile service. I just go to those centers and do whatever service is required. This is in my
Oh, great.
capacity. Like, yeah.
I'm sure, like, I know that many of them would be looking at, monetary benefit and all of that. But I would say even that would come over time once you start doing these kind of things, because people would see the kind of work that you're doing, and you would definitely get known in your practice as well. I'm sure. Bharti sir, so you've been the founding chairman for NOA. And I'm sure, like in all the different meetings and everything that's been there, you've always been of the view that ophthalmic assistant and optometry are in the same stream, and they shouldn't be really looked upon as very different. And you've always been supporting the ophthalmic assistant cadre to upgrade and things like that. So I know you've met with a lot of opposition as well within your own cadre. So I just like to say, what pushes you to do this? And I know that you would have become unfamous among your own friends for these kind of initiatives. So what really pushes you to go in this direction?
Actually, ma'am, when I joined the job, we were facing so many hardships because it was a young cadre, and even in the department, no one was ready to recognize us. There was no infrastructure available. Leave aside the auto reps and all that, we even didn't have the retinoscopes with us. So we had to purchase our own retinoscopes, arrange own table, own chair, and then examine the patients and do the refractions. So I thought that we should all come together and put all these hardships in front of the authorities concerned. So that pushed me to have some organization at the state level. So I first founded the Punjab Ophthalmic Assistants Association at that time. Now it's Punjab Ophthalmic Officers Association, because in August 2000 we were able to convince the authorities to change the designation from ophthalmic assistant to ophthalmic officer. It was also not that easy. It took eight years for us to move the file from one table to the other, one authority to the other, and then ultimately we were able to convince each and every person and then have the notification about the change of designation. And Punjab was the first state in the country to have the designation changed of ophthalmic officer. So when we went to the authorities in the Chandigarh state capital, so at that time it was a centrally sponsored program, NPCP, National Program for Control of Blindness. So for every demand, they will say it's a centrally sponsored program, so we cannot do anything. Whatever we get the instructions from the Central Health Ministry, we have to follow that because we are taking funds from them. So ultimately, I decided to approach the Central Health Ministry. And me or my organization, Punjab organization, it was not enough to convince them. So I started gathering the ophthalmic assistants from other states.
Other states. Okay.
Yes, it was very tough job, ma'am. At that time, when there was no mobile phone, there was no internet, there was nothing of that sort. And
they were also facing the same issues like you?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So what I was used to do, I was reading the newspaper and there was a news that some accident has happened and the patient has been referred to that hospital. So I immediately used to write a letter to the ophthalmic assistant that and that hospital to that and that city. I was not knowing the person, whether there was a person posted or not. So the letters used to roam around and ultimately some people I was able enough, or say some people contacted me, and then we had the first, it was a landmark, say we had the first conference in 1989 at Delhi. It was a single-handed approach, ma'am, and not even a single penny was charged from anyone. And we had a very successful conference at the MP Shah Auditorium at Gujarat Bhavan, New Delhi. And we had 13 states representing there. We formed the National Ophthalmic Association over there and then approached the other states. So that was the path we had to follow to have this national organization. And fortunate enough to be the first convener of that NOA, and very happy to see that the organization is doing a wonderful work in all the states.
So I think, your vision that long back, I think that is the path that maybe the government would also take, post the act. Looks like that if you look at the new national educational policy, they also are saying multiple entry and exit. So if we try to look at it, look at the act from the perspective of education, maybe they will also say, okay, you do a diploma, you gain some credits and then some experience, and then you can also upgrade yourself, by joining back into the graduation program and things like that. So maybe I don't know for sure, but maybe something that you envisioned long back, maybe coming into, action after this act is, implemented hopefully in the near future. So I think that is really something.
If that will be the scene, we will have to put in the efforts, whatever will be the requirement. So all the persons are there, big organizations are supporting this act. So we will act together.
Yes, absolutely, sir. Absolutely. Karthikeyan, sir.
Yes,
so I know that you've been doing a lot of work as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned, trying to get the different organizations together under one umbrella, the various factions together, because ophthalmic assistant, you also have a lot of diploma in optometry from the government ophthalmic hospital, and that section of people, ophthalmic assistants, then the graduate optometrists, and everybody together. I know you've worked very hard to get everybody together. So, what was your thinking when you were, trying to get everybody together?
Madam, last up to
you're muted, sir. Now you're okay. Now you're okay. Yeah, now you're okay.
Up to 2012, I am working only for NPCB Ophthalmic Assistant, Tamil Nadu Government Ophthalmic Assistant Association. After that, that conference, I am joined with all other of the optometrists in Tamil Nadu. We are coming on one umbrella. That's name is OATN, Optometric Association Tamil Nadu in Tamil Nadu. But at the time, in TNGOA, we have facing lot of problems in Tamil Nadu. Mainly in the state, cataract target is fixing to ophthalmic. Cataract target is 50%. Target is each ophthalmic assistant.
So each person should refer at least 50 patients for cataract surgery.
Not refer. Bring 50 cases. At the time.
Oh, you okay?
This is in Tamil Nadu.
So for Aisha and me, this is totally something different.
Yes, madam. Yes, madam. Very initially, we have done a lot of hundreds of surgery in government hospital, capsular extraction surgery. The medical college team is doing surgery in one time, but after 2000, they fixing a target to ophthalmic assistant. Then our association stands to filing a case in Chennai High Court, Madurai branch. We will succeed. They will target free approach. We'll got a stay for 50 cases target. We will got a stay. This is a very important one for peaceful eye care services. For
so no false referrals, no corruption, basically, yes. That will happen if you do this, and there is no stress. So you will not be falsely referring somebody for surgery and things like that.
This is a promoting measure of TNGOA. Then after that, at the same time, within Tamil Nadu, somebody are not only Tamil Nadu, majority of states not understanding within diploma holder, not clear understand, not clear. And this is a main cause of some problem. So in my think, unity is very important within optometry professionals. This is a main cause of in my thinking. So I'm after national conference, I contact with leaders of optometry RIO institute leaders, Mr. Sinkaravelu, Mr. Kumaran. I contact with. He is guiding me. He is a very inspiration leaders for unity for this position. In Tamil Nadu, we are presently we are doing in association government employees in the name of TNGOA and TNGOPA, Tamil Nadu Government Optometry Professional Association. Both associations is for government ophthalmic assistants. Another one association is Tamil Nadu Government Optometry Association for Diploma
RIO.
Optometry, RIO. This is
Correct.
our associations is going on. Common umbrella is OATN, Optometric
That's
Association.
very good, sir. Absolutely very good.
This is a model for national level organization. This is but some problems is I feel some problems within all type of ophthalmic assistant side. Some feelings here there. Diploma optometrist is some there. Graduate and other some problems is there, but at the same time, after national health bill passing in parliament, somebody's all are coming under ready to come. All are we are just we feel all are feel this is a very important to come under one umbrella. This is
and OATN does a lot of good work also.
Yes,
I think it is one of the most lively associations that I've seen throughout India in terms of state association, which does so much work, be it in education, be it in service delivery or anything like that. I think it is a big model for other states to also replicate, where all the cadres come together under one umbrella and do excellent work, even in terms of eye care awareness and all of that. I think OATN really does fantastic work. Sir, so thank you. I think
another one information, same problem is in national level. Same problem is in national level, but we can solve all problems, but person situation is something different. After bill passing, this situation is something different. So Berwal and Harjit can do for betterment of optometry professionals in future. This is still some problems is there. I know. I'm clearly no. Bharti sir, I know. But within short period, we are contact with all state office bearers. Give one common solution with and propose to government for betterment of ophthalmic assistance.
Yeah, I think that is the most important thing. So everybody, definitely there is some ego issue or some we can't please everybody and all cadres, but at the same time to get everybody together with people like you and Bharti sir, Harjeet Singh, Rajbir sir, and everybody, to get everybody together and then talk across the table with the different cadres, come up with a solution. I think that is really something which is very, very important. And I think without you people in the forefront, that wouldn't be possible. So I would definitely say thanks to you to get everybody together under one umbrella, especially in Tamil Nadu. And it has been a big success as well. We are seeing the work that OATN does. So definitely a huge success. Okay. So just to, put in perspective, so we have a graduate optometrist in her own capacity working in a place like Vijayawada, which is not a big metro like Delhi or Mumbai. And in her own capacity, she's doing, what she can do in terms of providing eye screening to government children, and even referring them if they need any other surgeries and things like that, and helping them through her own organization. And also in that small way, taking up the torch and, high above in terms of a graduate optometrist who's serving the community. I would say Vijayawada is not a small city. I mean, it is a tier 2 city, which is really huge. And for that kind of a population to cater to so many government schools. So hats off to you, Aisha, for really bearing that torch. And Bharti sir, I think you will be a big inspiration for many, many, many generations to come, I would say. If you ask me to study, many people tell me, oh, you should do PhD. I say, please, baksh do hame. So I am not for somebody. I really cannot. I can't sit with books anymore. Sir, I can read articles and everything, but if you ask me to sit and read, let's say, for example, physiological optics or something, I will run away, I think. Optics is something which I really cannot do.
But ma'am, I will like to share my experience. in a minute or two. When we were going to the university for the classes, we were the students only, and we were used to enjoy the classes. We used to enjoy the studentship over there. We had a very
Absolutely.
nice group with us, and so many inspiring people with us, and enjoyed studying there, being a student. And when you're out of the university, you're busy with your responsibilities, but within the university, we are the student only. So
Correct.
it was a nice group, and we had a nice time studying together, and ultimately realizing that the upgradation of the qualification and particularly your skills, it is a must.
Yeah,
Every
very, very
optometrist
important.
is going
Yeah.
for this.
And I think for Karthikeyan sir, definitely as far as the formation of OATN is concerned, and the great work that they are doing, and even in your own small way, be it Theni district or even the conference that was held in Trichy and all of that, I can really see your passion when it comes to organizing and getting everybody together, and always that fire saying that, okay, I should do something to move the profession forward. That is something really very, very commendable. I'm sure that must be rubbing off on your son also. So I'm hoping to see him also in your path very soon in the future.
Now he is doing an PhD in Manipal University, madam.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's very nice.
Okay.
So thanks to all of you. It's been a real great session, I should say. And I'll share the link also after this with all of you, so that you can share with your own colleagues. Sir, Bharti sir, with your permission, I'd also like to, share this recording maybe with Pramila Gupta ma'am and others as well, so that they are also aware of the kind of work that you do, and also the kind of population that you're serving. So because you said that there were just 2 ophthalmologists for such a huge population, I think things like these should be brought to the attention of some of the authorities as well. I have a last request. We have been circulating a small link for data collection. Because of the act, we plan to collect all this data and give it to the government, be it ophthalmic assistant, be it diploma holders, be it vision technicians. We're trying to collect as much as data as possible. So I'd like to share with all of you, and if you can help us in the data collection, that will really be of great support as well.
Madam, hello.
Yes, sir.
For viewers, I want some good information through you.
Yeah.
Can
sure.
you give information about Delhi Declaration through this meeting? For viewers, we are now all are viewing optometry.
Yes, absolutely. So Delhi Declaration was absolutely a landmark. In fact, we posted it not recently, maybe a year ago, to remind everybody, because of the same reason, to remind all our members and other optometrists. We did post it on Facebook as well. So Delhi Declaration was an absolute landmark where under the guidance of Professor Brian Holden and some of the others, such as Dr. Rao and the others who attended the meeting. And we also had people from Arvind also attending the meeting, where, people from NOA, people from IOA, which is the Optometry Association at that time, we all came together and then said that this is defined, this is what optometry would be and stand for. And from there onwards, that formed the Delhi Declaration, basically formed the foundation for forming Indian Optometry Federation as well. So that was something which was definitely a huge landmark, and getting everybody together, all the major institutions in India, all the major associations, educational bodies such as ASCO, and everybody to come in one platform and agree on that, and then get that declaration signed. We also had representatives from the World Council of Optometry as well there. So everybody signing that, and that moving forward was definitely a landmark, sir. So yes, I think we need to remind everybody as well. Okay. So we would definitely post that declaration again.
Okay, this is very important for this this important time, madam. So I am
Yes,
raising
yes,
this
yes,
question.
absolutely, sir. Absolutely. Yes.
Okay, madam.
Thanks
Thank
a
you.
lot.
Thank you, madam.
Thanks for your
Thanks
time,
a lot for
everybody.
giving me this opportunity to speak on this platform. And then you and Paula and OCI team are doing a commendable job.
Thank you. Thank you, Aisha.
Thanks, ma'am, for inviting us.
Thank you, sir. And we always need your blessings, I think.
Thank you. Thank you, madam.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, OCA.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, madam. Thank you, Paula, madam. Okay.
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot to
Okay.
everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, sir.